The Audience Forest Protection and Development is an important mission of the home people, of which forest fire prevention and control is an urgent task, especially in the dry season every year. Since the beginning of this year, some random rains have occurred in the forested areas. Although there has been no major fire, the fire prevention and the fighting forces in this area are always on duty around the log at key places. This year's forest fire prevention plan is being implemented seriously and effectively. In today's program, we'd like to introduce the reportage TayNinhTV Strengthening Forest Fire Prevention and Control.
Every year before entering the dry season, TayNinhTV Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has deployed a plan on the implementation of forest fire fighting and prevention to relevant levels, branches, and functional units in the province. The Provincial Steering Committee for Forest Fire Fighting and Prevention and the Commanding Committees for Forest Fire Fighting and Prevention at district and commune levels also plan and coordinate in the inspection of fire prevention, being ready to mobilize to fight fires in forest areas. Currently, the Forest Fire Fighting and Prevention forces across the province has arranged thousands of teams with more than 1,000 people, including local forces and coordinated forces. Firefighting means and equipment include dozens of kilometers of fire breaks. The forest fire level forecast warning signage, signs no fire signs, bladed points at the entrance to the forest near residential areas, water tanks of all kinds, and many other manual tools that can be used for forest fire fighting and prevention. Last year, the weather was unusually hot. The risk of forest fire was quite high. In the early days of 2022, the temperature didn't rise too high. There were some unseasonal rains, so the risk of fire isn't at an alarming level. However, the firefighting and prevention work at the forest owner units is always ready. In this year's dry season, the Management Board of Yau-Ting Protection Forest in Tân Châu District always focus on forest firefighting and prevention in key areas, especially in flammable grasslands placed near people's fields or near traffic roads. As for sub-area 3642 to be ready for forest fire fighting and prevention, the agencies arrange and equips facilities including flaws, water tanks, sprayers, water cans, etc. All are available 24/7 in the dry season. Before and after that, there was no fire, but the staff here are still on duty at flammable and key points, regularly patrolling. At noon, they are on duty 24/7. Yau-Ting Protection Forest covers an area of 30,000 hectares, of which the natural forest area is 17,800 hectares, more than 7,400 hectares of planted forest. The rest is other types of plant. As for the planted forest, the vegetation is mainly dry leaves mixed with some thatch and American grass, which can cause fire spread in the dry season. As for natural forest and regenerated forest, the vegetation of grassland, shrub, vines, thatch grass, dry leaves, etc. is also easy to catch fire in the dry season. In addition to the protection function of Yau-Ting Lake, Yau-Ting Protection Forest also protects the border belt, the landscape and environment, as well as conserve nature. This is also a place for sightseeing and ecotourism. Every year in the dry season, this border area experiences prolonged drought. Temperature is always high, with the vegetation is very susceptible to fire. Therefore, forest fire prevention is always a top priority for the Forest Management Board. Currently, at the peak of the dry season 2022, on the posts in the forest are strictly implementing fire prevention and control. Fire prevention equipment is always ready. In order to prevent fires on planted forests, we urge contracted households to handle the vegetation to avoid fires. As for key areas like compostable sunken grasslands in natural forests, we have handled in advance as actively burning. From the beginning of the dry season until now, the weather is also favorable when there is some rain, which greatly reduces the risk of fire. With the motto for on the spot, the forces here are always fully prepared with people and tools for firefighting and prevention. As for the risk of fire caused by people burning forests for farming and people catching bees, while on patrol we propagate and mobilize them not to light fires. The difficulty is that there are many alleys leading to the forest. If we block one end, those who burn in the forest will go another way. The forest guard here is thin. In cases where illegal lodgers travel in large number, the staff only recorded. Although the unit always actively propagates about the harmful effects of deforestation, forest fire, proactively in the work of patrol, fire control and prevention, the risk of forest fire in the dry season is always lurking and can happen at any time. The Lele post is one of the key points of the unit. Deep in the forest, not far from the neighboring country's borders, is considered as one of the outposts of the Protection Forest Management Board. Previously, this place was also a deforestation hotspot for forest products. Then the unit has set up sentry posts to prevent deforestation. Today, this is the station to strengthen fire prevention and control in the dry season. Currently, the staff here are always ready to perform their tasks. Generally, the management boards have successfully observed the plans that have been developed. Since early this year, no major fire has occurred in the province. The units have actively completed the task of forest fire fighting and prevention. This year, the weather is favorable. There are unseasonal rains at the beginning of the year, so the risk of forest fires rarely occurs. However, with the motto prevention is key, the management boards are currently still on duty around the clock at key areas prone to forest fires. Continue to propagate and mobilize people to be conscious of avoiding fires in the forest. To be proactive in firefighting and prevention, the forest management boards also implement, coordinate with local authorities, forestic communes and people living near the forest to raise vigilance and participating in fire prevention and control. The units also hire the locals and provide equipment for them to take turns guarding in vital places. There's more holes in case of lack of water for firefighting. Equipment and water tenders are always checked and ready for firefighting throughout the area. Every year, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, TayNinh Forest Protection Department, direct the forest owner units to well organize the implementation of the plan for forest firefighting and prevention. Focus on reviewing, updating, and supplementing the content of the plan in accordance with actual situation, the weather conditions in the forest areas, assigning force to be on duty, and coordinating with local authorities and forces stationed in the area to patrol and on duty in command of firefighting 24/7 to be ready in case of fires.
The audience, the program TayNinh Agriculture Today now comes to an end. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.